Hey, rebels, cosmic souls, how y'all really feeling out there? Good? I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Welcome to Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution, where we are on a mission to pioneer the world's first neurodivergent focused social media production company dedicated to amplifying the superpowers of being neurodivergent, providing economic and exposure opportunities for neurodivergent Black women within media, tech, and the art landscape. And on today's excursion, we will be defining the true awkward Black girls, which is no other neurodivergent Black women, the awkward Black girl trope popularized by Issa Rae, her geniusness. Shout out to Issa Rae because she made that, she did that, and yes, and that order. But before we get into things, if you didn't know by now, I'm fire because I stay bringing that heat. And yes, in that order, I am the founder of Black Girl Fire and the cultural architect mogul behind Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution. And before we dive deep in today's excursion, I want to share a little insights about my personal journey of being an entrepreneur while also being a neurodivergent Black woman living in America, and provide some tips out there to help you on your journey. So, to begin this conversation, I want to highlight the latest conversations going on with Terrance Howard and his new discovery within the math world. I guess you can say he came out with an analogy in the opening statement of his research is that 1 times 1 equals 2. I mean, one times 1 equals 2, because usually what a lot that we was taught in grammar school or high school, it was that 1 times 1 equals 1. And I was really listening to a lot of what he was saying, and he was his analogy is reverting back to nature and really studying nature, and how when you put two things together they reproduce something else and it doesn't equal itself. And and I thought that was very insight, and just going back to indigenous traditions and African studies within the science and spirituality, and how that center around nature, how nature is the center, opposed to the colonized version of mathematics and other things that today's society from. So I've been hearing a lot of highlights of different conversation that he's having on podcasts with different mathematicians, and their unwillingness to accept Terrance Howard's research, and saying that it isn't something new, and how, because it kind of challenged the traditional math, the traditional way that we identify math. But as I was thinking about this conversation, hearing these interviews, all I can think about is my experience as a neurodivergent Black woman who's also navigating entrepreneurship, where I have been on a journey to to learn how to transform my creative practice into a scalable business. And as I've been learning about standard rigid business practice, I'm like, this don't work for me. It's not inclusive and accessible for me. It doesn't allow for freedom of self-expression of or different ways of existing, especially the standard way of doing business. So I am a disruptor of that. And just know, like, and thinking from that, and going back to Terrance Howard. Now, I haven't really read Terrance Howard research or anything like that, but I heard a lot of him talking, and my what I came to terms with, and thinking about where he might be coming from, and thinking about, like, okay, multiplication is a faster, is a advanced or a quicker way of addition, and how the 0 and 1 is activate, or the value of 0 and 1 in multiplication is so different from the value of 0 and 1 in addition, subtraction, and division. Because in multiplication, 0 kind of, the number 0 in multiplication kind of act as like a void, or something that takes away from the value of the number that is being multiplied by. And the number 1, the value of number 1 in multiplication acts as a mirror for the other number that is being multiplied by the number 1. And this function is drastically different from the function of 0 and 1 within addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So that's what I kind of think is kind of like the basis of Terrance Howard's research, as well as thinking about in nature. And the main reason why, like, I'm bringing this up, because, like, with like Terrance Howard new research and study, it is challenging the traditional way of mathematics, the evolution of mathematics. And all of these people are coming out telling Terrance Howard, you wrong. You can't say you coming up with a new research study that's already been done, that we have evolved from so much. And it's kind of like, to me, this is a lot how neurodivergent individuals feel when navigating an inaccessible society. We are constantly told, like, the way that we think and the way that we function is wrong, because it doesn't fit into the status quo. It doesn't fit into the mold. And I think that's a problem, because, like, there's over 8.8 billion people in the world, and it would be totally boring and such a drag for us all to think the same and to operate, which society is trying to force us all to do. Like, we all are different, and that's what makes the world goes round. That's what makes for so many innovations and advances in the world, to help us continue to progress as humans are continuing to evolve as we move to a new time. So I would say, like, one tip I would like to share to all my beautiful neurodivergent Black women goddesses out there is that it's all about finding your tribe, building a strong, solid team to help you really take your vision to the next level, especially navigating entrepreneurship, within the standard rigid business practices and world. Because like I understand like completely, especially like when I started out, like I wanted to like build community. I wanted to work with other people. But in the past, that always felt me love feeling drained, down on myself, feeling like I had to overcompensate and put extreme pressure on myself in order to fit into the mold of the standard rigid business practices. And that often left me feeling like less than. But it took me until I dedicated a year to unmasking, to allow myself to be vulnerable, to go through that grieving process of shedding the old version of myself to becoming this new version of me, to understand like, no, it's not that I'm wrong or that I'm not good enough or that I'm being left behind because this inaccessible society isn't built for me. It made me to really focus on my own strength and weaknesses and use that as the platform to create initiatives, innovations that's from my perspective that will help like co-create the world that I can function in, that I can exist in freely, and that I can be my best self, and I can help contribute to creating a new earth that's more inclusive and accessible for all, especially my neurodivergent Black women out there. Yes, because like we are the moment right here. So like the advice that I would give to all my neurodivergent Black women who are on a journey to be entrepreneurs, to build, to establish their own business, but are feeling lost and stuck right now because you see society doesn't include you. It isn't accessible or inclusive for you. And you often feel like an alien navigating in a foreign society. So these are some of the things that really help me. First, trust the process and be fully present in the moment and take baby steps and just embodying the essence of the turtle, because we turtle, yes, we are turtle enough for the turtle club. Because remember, in the story, the tortoise versus the tortoise was the one that came out on top because the tortoise, turtle, whatever you want to call it, was the one that took the time out to build a firm, solid foundation to navigate through, to navigate through, to help, to help them to navigate through, to help it finish the race. And I feel like as neurodivergent Black women who are also entrepreneurs and creators, we have to take out the time to first understand who we are at the core, to learn our strength and weakness, and actually dedicate time to building that foundation that's centered around our strengths and weakness that we can navigate through to build a strong infrastructure to help us scale a successful business from. And I will always say this was also my problem, was the need to scoreboard watch. Like I was so obsessed with worrying about how many likes and follows that I was getting on social media that I forgot about the value of my mission. Like it all needs to start from the value of your mission or whatever you are building. And yes, that's all. That's my take for that part. And now, I would like for you. I would like for us all to go on a virtual scavenger hunt journey together, and finding like videos, photos, articles that help define that neurodivergent Black women are the true awkward Black girls. So, and make sure to put like your findings in the comments so you can join in on this conversation. And I'm going to share my screen with you about what like I found. So I came across this YouTube video on I came across like this YouTube video. So I'm not sure who this Sydney person is. I'm not sure if it's from like a movie or a TV show. I never seen it, but I was very captivated by like this title, this caption on a TikTok video. It says Sydney, the awkward Black girl and neurodivergent identity, because we have to like think about, especially just being neurodivergent, we have to mask like our true brilliance, like who we are at the core, just so we don't feel uncomfortable. Like a lot of times we are made to feel like we had to become diverse, digestible versions of ourselves so others can consume us, so they can feel comfortable around us, which I feel like is like a problem, because we we which contribute to a lot of time with us becoming people pleasers, putting other people's needs before our own, and not really understand ourselves at the core. And so this just brings me to now inviting you to become an active member of Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution. And one thing you absolutely need to be a part of Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution, you need to be rocking your DWA T. So DWA, DWAA, simply stands for being disabled with an attitude. Because over here at Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution, we are taking up space. We are being bold. We are no longer waiting for others to validate our brilliance, our beauty, our boldness. We are taking up space. We are being unapologetic. And this is what the Y T stands for: taking up space and being disabled with an attitude, and being our true, authentic self at the core, and no longer waiting for others to validate us or to give us permission to be our true, authentic self. And by you purchasing your Dewar tea today, you will be contributing to helping pioneer the world's first neurodivergent focused social media production company dedicated to amplifying the superpowers of being neurodivergent, providing economic and exposure opportunities for neurodivergent Black women within media, tech, and the art landscape, while providing them with the tools and resources to help them live a comfortable and successful life. And until next time, my beautiful souls, and remember to be kind and gentle to yourself. And yes, in that order.